Streaming with us, incredibly graphic testimony today in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. And we have to warn you, some of what you hear may be disturbing.
That was a really painful time. I'm sorry.
Bill got bitten, down that road. Now, Speedy don't have to go down that one, right? So.
TD Jakes was hanging out at a rapper and twerking party. What? That Puff Daddy held. He's sitting right there. Oh, TD Snakes.
Amen.
They there twerking and everything. TD Snakes right there.
My Lord, my Lord.
This whole Diddy trial is no longer just another Hollywood scandal. Nope, it's become a full-blown media circus, like something straight out of a crime drama you'd binge-watch with popcorn in hand. What started as one woman, Cassie, bravely stepping forward to share her painful truth, has now spiraled into something way bigger than anyone expected. It's not just about one celebrity or one victim anymore. The story has grown into a monster, dragging in big names, explosive court moments, and jaw-dropping claims that have left the public stunned.
There played an audio recording for the jury of a hotel night with a male prostitute Jane identified as Dawn.
At first, everyone thought it was just about Cassie and the horrible things she said Diddy did to her, controlling her life, throwing weird secret parties, and allegedly mistreating her behind closed doors. But now, the story takes on a wild turn. People inside the courtroom are whispering that things have gotten downright dangerous. There are audio tapes being played in court, seriously intense ones, not just phone calls, but recordings so explicit, so disturbing, that when they were played, the whole room reportedly froze. Phones aren't even allowed in the courtroom anymore. No cameras, no sound, just silence as those chilling clips play behind locked doors. Then came the witnesses, not random fans looking for attention. These are real people who knew Diddy, worked with him, even partied at his mansion. And now they're finally talking. One of them, Dawn Richards. Yep, the same Dawn from the girl group Danity Kane. She took the stand looking exhausted. And once she spoke, everything changed. She backed up Cassie's story and told the court that she saw Diddy beat Cassie just because dinner wasn't ready on time. Eggs were flying, a skillet was swung at her head, and Cassie hit the ground in a fetal position while Diddy allegedly kicked her over and over. Dawn didn't call the cops. She was terrified. The next day, Diddy allegedly told her to keep quiet, or people could go missing. And just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, Homeland Security stepped in. A federal agent testified about raiding Diddy's hotel room. Inside, they found bags of baby oil, bottles of Astroglide, and a whole lot of questions. The courtroom went cold after that. Even Diddy's own daughters walked out looking pale and shocked, saying nothing, not even glancing at the press. That moment, it hit hard. It said more than words ever could. But wait, it gets even wilder. Suddenly, Will Smith's name was mentioned during court proceedings. Not in passing. It was reportedly on the tape. When the news hit the internet, the whole world went into a frenzy. People started digging up old interviews, replaying awkward moments between Will and Diddy, and even quoting jokes comedians had made, like when Linnell hinted that they might have been more than just friends. And if that wasn't enough, Jaguar Wright, known for calling out the industry's darkest secrets, started speaking up again. She didn't hold back either, mentioning Will's own kids, the people he mentored, and even bringing up names like August Alcena and Brashear Gray. She questioned whether the entertainment world has twisted people so much that they've lost control over who they are. She wasn't just throwing shade. She was lighting the whole forest on fire. Even brought up how Brashear Gray is trying to do whatever it takes, just to be let back in the club. But according to her, the industry isn't taking him back. They're just stringing him along. Then Meek Mill's name came up in leaked court audio, and things spiraled even further. Unlike Will, who stayed silent, Meek had a meltdown on Twitter, posting defensively and only drawing more attention. People started joking that he was dressing like Diddy, walking like Diddy. Too many coincidences. Some even alleged that Google searches from his devices showed explicit material that only added fuel to the fire. Clips of Diddy calling Meek daddy at a shirtless birthday pool party resurfaced, turning into memes. When Meek responded with, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the internet clapped back hard, with evidence, screenshots, and more jokes than ever.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work.
proud of you. I love you.
But behind all the noise, what's really grabbing attention is the secret court audio. No leaks, no footage, just chilling rumors that it includes someone getting hurt while Diddy allegedly laughs. Some say the silence is meant to protect victims. Others believe it's because the audio is too explosive. It could ruin reputations, cancel deals, trigger lawsuits, and pull new powerful people into the spotlight. People we haven't even heard about yet. If Will, Diddy, and Meek are just the beginning, who else is tangled in this web? One name that keeps popping up, T.D. Jakes. If you're not too familiar with Bishop T.D. Jakes, here's the quick version. He's one of the most famous prosperity preachers in the world. That means he teaches that Jesus was wealthy, and that God wants you to be wealthy too. But while Jesus spent his time among the poor and the hurting, you won't often catch Bishop Jakes walking those same humble paths. These days, he's more often seen at high-profile events, rubbing shoulders with presidents, Hollywood elites, and billionaires. And among those celebrity connections, one name stands out, Diddy. Yep, T.D. Jakes and Diddy have been publicly friendly for years. But behind the handshakes and photo ops, there's been a lot of speculation, whispers that their friendship might be deeper than what's shown in the spotlight. Some folks online even believe there's more going on behind the scenes, stuff that never makes it to the pulpit or the paparazzi. These rumors aren't new either. In fact, they gained serious traction back in 2009 when T.D. Jakes' son, Jermaine Jakes, made headlines of his own. Jermaine, who was 29 at the time, was arrested by undercover vice officers in Dallas's Keys Park. According to the arrest report, he approached two detectives with his pants unzipped and, shockingly, began to masturbate while maintaining eye contact with one of them. The officers arrested Jermaine Jakes on the spot for indecent exposure. He was detained right there at the scene, but later released. Still, the incident left people shaking their heads. I mean, think about it. Bishop T.D. Jakes, a man who preaches about righteousness, self-control, and walking in the light, only for his own son to be caught doing something so publicly shameful? The irony couldn't be more intense. It really makes you stop and wonder, if the people closest to the preacher aren't living right, then what else could be happening behind closed doors? Now let's talk about Diddy and T.D. Jakes. Their connection goes way beyond public appearances. When Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, tragically passed away, he personally asked Bishop Jakes to officiate her funeral. That's not just a casual friendship, that's a deep bond. Jakes later took to Instagram, posting a heartfelt tribute to Kim. He spoke about the powerful love Diddy had for her, encouraging people to see that kind of love as a blessing, even through the pain of loss. It was moving, at least on the surface. But here's where things get complicated. While Jakes was praising love and healing, the stories that followed Kim Porter's death painted a much darker picture, especially when it came to her relationship with Diddy. Allegations began to swirl, claims of control, emotional manipulation, and even physical mistreatment. Some reports suggested Diddy had broken Kim's nose. Others hinted at deeper, long-term trauma that she suffered in silence. And if you've heard what Diddy's former bodyguard had to say, it gets even heavier. He openly claimed that Diddy treated Kim exactly the same way he treated Cassie. So, when Cassie came forward with her lawsuit detailing years of mistreatment, control, and trauma, well, it's not a stretch to believe Kim might have lived through something similar.
I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
Now, here's something important to keep in mind. These whispers about Diddy, they didn't just appear out of nowhere after the lawsuits or the recent headlines. No, these rumors have been circulating for years. Long before any legal drama or police involvement, people were already side-eyeing Diddy's lifestyle. He's always been seen as one of the most controversial figures in the entertainment world, surrounded by wild stories, legendary parties, and whispers about what really happens when the cameras stop rolling. But here's the part that really makes people pause. Despite knowing all of this, despite the rumors, the headlines, the vibe, Bishop T.D. Jakes never turned down an invitation. In fact, he showed up, smiling, mingling, comfortable.
Happy birthday to you, we love you, man.
And that's where eyebrows start to rise, because when a man of God is consistently seen rubbing shoulders at events known more for excess than enlightenment, people start to ask questions. What's really happening after midnight at those parties? And why are so many powerful people, including preachers, so eager to be part of it? And when Jaguar Wright was asked why she thinks T.D. Jakes is always at Diddy's parties, she had a lot to say.
But for him to be at a Diddy party? I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is the bishop of what?
Now, Jaguar Wright didn't stop at TD Jakes. She had a lot to say about Will Smith, too, if you haven't heard the whispers that have been floating around for years. Here's a shocker. There are rumors that Will Smith's son, Jaden, was sold to Diddy at an early age. Honestly, it's not surprising to many who've watched how Will behaved around his son, even on national television. Over the years, people have seen Will openly kiss Jaden on the lips for extended periods. Some might say it's just fatherly affection, but for a lot of others, it crosses a line. Disturbing, uncomfortable, and downright disgusting. There have long been whispers surrounding Will Smith's orientation and whether it aligns with the public image he's maintained for years. Some speculate that, much like Diddy, Will has shown unusual affection toward young male stars in the industry. The rumors kicked into high gear after Star magazine published a story claiming Will and his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, had split not because of another woman, but because of another man, actor Dwayne Martin. Things got even more intense when Will's former assistant, brother Bilal, came forward in an interview with YouTuber Tasha K. According to him, he once walked in on Will and Dwayne in a compromising situation in a dressing room. I opened the door and saw Dwayne and Will, well, being really intimate, he claimed. They were on a couch, Will was bent over, and Dwayne was standing up. It was pretty intense. But that's not all. Jaguar Wright also chimed in with some disturbing allegations of her own. She claimed that both Will and Jada would invite young boys into their home under the guise of offering mentorship, only for things to allegedly take a darker turn. According to her, their own son Jaden witnessed some of these unsettling moments, experiences that reportedly had a lasting emotional impact on him. Jaguar even went as far as to say that actors like Brashear Gray and rapper Meek Mill had to flee Will's home, screaming for help. She alleges that the couple's behavior left some of their so-called mentees traumatized and desperate to escape.
Had in common, though, the survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before.
Just like Diddy was known for mentoring his favorite young artists and staff, there are whispers that something far more troubling may have gone on behind closed doors at Will Smith's home. Rumors suggest that Will, much like Diddy, may have crossed the line under the guise of mentorship, allegedly manipulating and threatening young artists for his own gain. The speculation becomes even more unsettling when you consider the story of Brashear Gray. His public breakdowns, reckless behavior, and admissions about struggling with depression and addiction all raised red flags. Many believe those issues didn't just come out of nowhere. They allegedly stem from his time being mentored by Will, who was reportedly showing him an unusual level of affection. These claims paint a disturbing picture, suggesting that what was presented as guidance may have been something much more damaging.
Surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he's gonna be all right.
Another individual allegedly caught in this tangled web is none other than Jaden Smith's close friend, August Alcena. Back in 2020, August dropped a bombshell when he claimed that he had been in a romantic relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith in 2016, with Will Smith not only knowing about it, but supposedly giving his blessing. That confession alone sent shockwaves across the internet, raising questions about the true nature of the Smiths' relationships and the dynamics within their household. The revelation didn't just stir gossip, it sparked serious debates. People began wondering whether the mentorship being offered by some of Hollywood's most influential figures was genuinely supportive or potentially manipulative. As Will and Jada opened their doors to young artists under the guise of guidance and family-like warmth, their own son Jaden found himself in circles tied to none other than Diddy. But Jaden wasn't the only familiar name in that crowd. Joining him was Usher, which raised even more eyebrows. Fans who had long questioned Usher's past with Diddy were reminded that Usher was just 10 years old when he moved to New York to live with him. Considering Diddy's current legal issues and the rumors swirling around his past behavior, this revelation reignited concerns about what Usher might have experienced or witnessed during that time. And when Usher was later asked in an interview whether he would ever allow his own children to stay in the same kind of environment, his response was immediate and firm: absolutely not. That answer spoke volumes, leaving many to wonder what really went on behind closed doors and just how deep these connections and their consequences truly run.
To New York City. and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Still, many fans remain skeptical of Usher's true role in all of this, especially as whispers continue suggesting he adopted Diddy's controversial mentorship style. One of the most talked about rumors? That Usher played a key part in introducing Justin Bieber to Diddy. An introduction that, according to some, led to Justin's alleged exposure to questionable situations behind the scenes. Now, let's connect the dots. When Never Say Never propelled both Jaden Smith and Justin Bieber into global fame, it wasn't just a stroke of luck. Usher and Diddy were right there, orchestrating their rise. While on the surface it looked like a powerful launch for young talent, some observers suggest there may have been hidden costs, hinting at a loss of innocence traded for fame and access. What raises even more eyebrows is that, despite the mounting allegations surrounding Diddy, Usher hasn't backed away. On the contrary, he continues to praise Diddy, publicly calling him the greatest mentor he's ever had. For some, that's loyalty, but for others, it's a red flag that maybe Usher knows more than he's letting on. Adding fuel to the fire, Jaden Smith himself has opened up about his struggles with substance addiction, struggles that reportedly began during the same period he was frequently attending Diddy's infamous parties. Some sources even claim that those gatherings were coordinated by both Diddy and Will Smith, bringing Jaden into that environment at a very young age. Now, with everything that's been coming to light, it's not far-fetched to say that Will Smith, Meek Mill, and even Bishop T.D. Jakes might be more deeply connected to Diddy than anyone initially believed, especially when you line up the facts, the testimonies, the court appearances, the witness accounts. It all starts to paint a very complicated, very dark picture. These aren't just distant acquaintances or people who happen to run in the same Hollywood circles. No, these are men who have been seen attending Diddy's private events, photographed at his exclusive parties, and, in some cases, even praised him publicly. Now, considering what we know, that association feels questionable at best. And let's be clear, this isn't about guilt by association. It's about patterns, repeated patterns of behavior and silence, strategic silence. Because now the truth is clawing its way to the surface. On June 7th, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, known in court only as Jane, returned to the witness stand with chilling new details. She recounted the countless substance-fueled intimate marathons, many of which she said left her physically and emotionally shattered. Jane testified that Diddy would ignore her pleas to stop, mock her tears, and continuously manipulate her into situations she no longer wanted to be part of. And just before she took the stand, Judge Arun Subramanian had to warn Diddy not to engage with jurors after he was caught nodding at them during cross-examination. It's as if even in the courtroom, Diddy believes the rules don't apply to him. But it doesn't stop there. Another witness, Briana, Banna Bangolan, told the court that Diddy once held her over a balcony. Yes, a balcony, for 10 to 15 terrifying seconds. She now suffers from reoccurring night terrors. That alone would have shaken headlines for weeks. But it was just one of many horrifying testimonies. Diddy's former assistant even accused him of SA, disturbing tantrums, and manipulative mistreatment during an 8-year span where she claims he used fear and control to get his way. And yet somehow these accounts still only scratch the surface. Jane revealed that even after they broke up, Diddy continued to pay her rent. He dangled luxuries, dental work, expensive trips, private homes, like bargaining chips. She shared how she was expected to coordinate so-called hotel nights where Diddy would bring in male workers. Sometimes he hinted at it with code words. Sometimes, she said, it was just expected. It's a shocking cycle. Mistreatment cloaked in glamour, coercion disguised as generosity. So now as we circle back to the question everyone's whispering, but few are brave enough to ask out loud, where do Will Smith, Meek Mill, and Bishop T.D. Jakes really stand in all of this? Are they truly unaware? Were they just unfortunate to be in the same room? Or is there more behind those private get-togethers and secret gatherings? It's only a matter of time before more names start surfacing. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. This trial is not just about Diddy. It's about the culture of silence that allowed all of this to go on for so long. So here's the question. If these powerful men truly had no part in it, why haven't they spoken out? And if they did, what would they say? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay updated as this story continues to unfold, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're just getting started.